Top 12 most secluded towns in America. Secluded. Say that out loud. It just rolls off the tongue. Guys, before we jump into this, I'd appreciate some of that thumb love. If you could like a video, subscribe, and let's do this.
Did you know that there's a town in Alaska where all its residents live in a single building, or that to get
I did
to
actually
Point
know
Roberts
that.
in Washington, you either have to take a small plane or private boat, or
What?
go through the US-Canadian border? Today, we will be going over the 12 most secluded towns
Wait,
in
you have to get a boat? There's no road. Okay.
America. To determine which towns are the most secluded, the town or location has to have at least 100 residents and a post office, and must be far away from any other town. 12. Crested, Butte, Colorado. The first town on the list is Crested Butte, a former coal mining town now called the last great ski resort town
Wait a minute. Is this a town that's just covered inside a ski resort?
in
Holy.
Colorado. Crested Butte spans only 0.8 square miles and is 21 miles away from the nearest town. Being that far out,
Jesus.
it would take about 4.5 hours of driving from the Denver airport to get to the ski town. So it's quite fortunate that there's a small airport located about 40 minutes away
What?
in Gunnison, Colorado. The small town is home to a permanent population of a little more than 1,400 people. And in winter, the ski resort pulls in a handful of people looking for pristine slopes to ski in
That's
the
quite
middle
cool,
of
though.
nowhere. Before
Isn't
you
it?
start packing your bags and planning a winter
quite
trip,
cool.
you should know that Crested Butte is often referred to as Colorado's snowiest town, which means the town may give you more seclusion than you bargained for. In the winter, most
Okay.
of the roads to the resort town get
Do
closed
any of you guys live in any towns or any places in the US that is always covered in snow? Let me know.
down, and it is also easy to get snowed in and trapped in the ski town.
I was going to say that. What if there's really bad weather? I know you probably shouldn't be going anywhere if it's snowy bad anyway, but like, what do you do? Are you like, what about like emergency services? Are we cooked? Are we just dead?
If
Or
you
what
are
happens?
still interested in visiting Crested Butte, you should be prepared to cut off time from the world through winter. 11. Marfa,
Marfa.
Texas. One of the beauties of Marfa, a small desert town in Texas, is that it is a known arts hub and for the natural phenomena Marfa Lights.
What the fuck is that? A UFO!
Hosting huge art
Wait a
in
minute.
Marfa, a small desert town in Texas, is that it is a known arts hub and for the natural phenomena Marfa Lights. Hosting huge
What's
art
that?
installations, exhibitions, concerts, and cultural festivals has put the small town on the map.
Okay.
The downside to this art-loving town, on the other hand, is that Marfa is so deep in the high deserts of Texas that there isn't a city west of Marfa for 500 miles.
So who decided to build a town here then? If it's this secluded, why are we building a town? It's fucking 500 miles away. Who decided, you know what, we're going to go 500 miles into the desert, absolutely near nothing, and we're building a town way over there? Who decides that?
And to get there from El Paso would take about 3.5 hours. Marfa
What
has
the
a
f-
population of a little over 1,900 locals and is a tourist destination because of its focus on art. Marfa
Okay.
might be a beautiful, art-loving desert town, but there's no denying it is
Oh
so far
my-
from civilization, you can't just decide to visit on a whim.
That's
10.
kind of scares me, bro.
Eureka, Nevada.
That scares me.
This old mining town is on Highway 50, which is nicknamed the loneliest road in America, a befitting choice considering the seclusion of the town. The closest town to Eureka is Duckwater, and it is 46 miles away.
Duckwater.
The town of Eureka is located in the second
What?
least populous county in Nevada. It has a small population of just over 400 residents, and it attracts some crowds
Oh my
frequently
God.
with its quaint architecture and famous opera
Yeah, that's
house.
kind of crazy.
The
Only
town of
400 people
Eureka
live there.
can be a pretty thing to look at, especially with its appearance that shows the best side of an old town. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't change the fact that it is far from civilization.
Does it have a hospital? Do these places have hospitals? Like jails and stuff? What are we doing here, man? What happens if there's an emergency? There probably is, right? But it seems like, I don't know, in my head, there's not. So can someone please put my mind to ease and tell me that there's hospitals in these towns? Please. Speaking of hospitals, I stream over on Twitch. A few weeks ago, we played a game called Crash Bandicoot. Put a highlight video over my speaking right now, and I tell you what, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. I used to play this game as a kid, and yeah, I hope to God I wasn't as bad as I was back then, because I thought I was quite good. I proved myself wrong. So if you guys think you're better, come over to Twitch.
Kalaupapa, Hawaii. When you think of Hawaiian towns, you mostly think of beautiful beach-filled island cities.
Sorry, I need to hear him say that again.
Kalaupapa, Hawaii. When you think of Hawaiian towns, you mostly think of
Is that how
beautiful
you pronounce
beach-filled
that?
island cities. Then
Hawaii.
there's the town of Kalaupapa, which was once known as the leper colony. This small Hawaiian town was the site of a former settlement designed for people suffering from leprosy to be quarantined. This secluded town, located on the Kalaupapa
What?
Peninsula, is currently home to a small population of just 122 residents.
There's only 122 people living here. What the frick?
The former leper colony has maintained the seclusive way of life that it was known for in the old days. To this day, Kalaupapa
shops?
remains one of the most remote locations in Hawaii. Unlike some of the other secluded towns, gaining access to the town of Kalaupapa can be quite a challenge, as the national park surrounding the town only allows 100 visitors per day. Not just that, people below the age of 16 aren't allowed to visit the town.
Why?
Aside from that, this tiny Hawaiian town is the perfect tropical vacation spot for those who truly want to get away. 8. Point Roberts, Washington. Point Roberts is a town that was created when the United States and the United Kingdom settled an American-Canadian border dispute in the mid-19th century.
What the
The
hell?
somewhat controversial American town is so secluded
Brett's always
that
getting
you
involved in
have to
everything.
first cross into Canada to get there. Or, if you happen to have access to a small plane or private boat, that can also work.
That's
The
quite
town
cool.
has a population of
I like-
1,191 locals and a total land mass of 4.8 square miles. It is one of those beautiful places you'd love to retire in, but there's still the question of which country should own the enclave hovering.
I'll tell
There
you
have
who
been
shouldn't,
talks
bro.
about giving
Breton, what are we even doing over there? Get out!
the territory to the United Kingdom or Canada since the town's creation, but till now, its status as American remains unchanged. 7.
Nice.
Red River, New Mexico. Like most towns in America, the Red River town in New Mexico was first populated after miners struck gold. It was booming in the
I feel
18th
like a lot of these towns are the reason they are towns is because they used to be places where mining used to happen, and they've probably just stayed towns while the mining's kind of isn't a thing anymore, I think. So is that why a lot of these towns exist? Because they used to be mining towns? That would make sense.
1990s with an
Okay.
abundance of gold and silver, and at its peak, it had about 3,000 residents. Fast forward to now, and what's left of the town is an even smaller, more secluded town supporting a population of only 542 residents.
Yo,
Supporting a
I'm telling you
popula-
right now, that is a beautiful view, bro. Holy shit. That is an absolutely stunning view. Imagine just taking your little dog a walk down the street here with that backdrop.
population
God
of
damn.
only 542 residents. The secluded mountain town of Red
Holy.
River is located in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains and is surrounded by the Carson National Forest. The closest
That's awesome.
town is Santa Fe, which is about a 2.5-hour drive away with nothing but empty roads in between.
Who
Red
makes these
River is
roads?
now a small resort town with tourism as its main economic backbone, attracting people with winter activities like skiing, snowboarding, and snowmobile driving. If
Snowmobile
you don't
driving
mind
looks
the
so
drive,
fun, man. I would
Red
love to do
River
that.
might be just the right type of town you're looking for.
Yeah?
6.
Oh, look at this.
Tucumari, New Mexico. Originally known as Ragtown, then Six-Shooter Siding, then Douglas, before finally becoming Tucumcari. Tucumcari is a small town in New Mexico that you can say is truly in the middle of nowhere. It is located in the county of Quay, and the closest civilization is an even smaller village called Logan, 20 miles away. One of the attractions of this town is that even though decades have passed,
What are we doing?
it still looks something like a town in
Hey.
a 1950s movie.
Okay, I'm just realizing what they were doing. This is awesome. This is one of my favorite things about America, man. There's so many places, like towns like this, that keep that kind of tradition and old world feel, and it really makes places like this feel like home. I don't know what it is. Stuff like this should happen in everywhere, man. I love this. Personality, I think it's a good word for it. It's got a bit of personality, you know what I mean?
Is that even though decades have passed, it still looks something like a town in a 1950s movie.
Love it.
Due to its antique appearance,
Love it.
a lot of movies have been shot in the town. Among these movies are some of Clint Eastwood's gun-toting films and many more. Presently, Tucumari houses a population of 5,278 people.
I would like to
which
be
is
one of
about 2,489 households and 1,607 families living blissfully in the secluded town.
Awesome. That might be my
5.
favorite one yet.
Ely, Nevada.
Might be my favorite one.
Sitting on the eastern edge of Nevada's longest highway, Ely is a secluded mountain town in White Pine County, Nevada.
White Pine?
The town was founded as a stagecoach stop along the Pony Express in 1906, and after a small mining boom, it became a town to live in. As of now,
Love it.
the closest
Absolutely love
civilization around is a small territory called McGill, which is about 22 miles away, and the next closest is Las Vegas, 211 miles away. Ely has a population of 3,924 residents as of the 2020 census and attracts a fair number of crowds as a tourism center. For a town with its major attraction being a global railroad museum, the town of Ely is quite secluded.
This is so cool,
4.
man.
Utqiagvik, Alaska.
I'm sorry, where? That's not English, man. Someone threw a fucking bunch of letters at a fridge and said, you know what, that's what this town's now called.
Utqiagvik, Alaska.
Utqiagvik.
The first thing that you will notice about this town is that its name is quite a mouthful.
It's Russian.
And if you can get past the name, you'd have to go all the way to the northernmost part of the state to get to Utqiagvik
God
in
damn.
Alaska. The town has a population of about 4,900 residents, with most of its residents being involved in several oil field operations. A fun fact about this Alaskan town is that it was the setting of a horror comic
The
series.
Thing!
The showrunners probably
Oh
found
my-
the town to be a befitting location.
Yo, 30 Days of Night. I remember going to the cinema to see this movie, and it scared the shit out of me. Terrifying.
Because, well, the horrors of the night are usually found in secluded places. Although Utqiagvik is the economic
Utqiagvik.
center of the northernmost borough of Alaska, it is not connected by road to the rest of Alaska due to its secluded location.
That's insane.
The closest city to the northern town is Anchorage, which is about 720 miles away.
Holy
And with no
shit.
roads leading to the town, your only option is to fly there or take a boat if you have the option. Although a plane is your best bet.
Oh my god,
3.
that's wild.
Nia Bay, Washington.
Okay.
Ever been to Washington's north coast?
Nope.
Well, located at the farthest northwestern coastal edge of the state is Nia Bay, a little picture-perfect secluded town.
Beautiful.
The town is one of the wettest places in the country, and it relies on fishing and tourism as its main economic forces.
Wettest
It has a
places?
population of about 865 permanent
Where do
residents.
they live? In the
and
fucking
it attracts
lighthouse?
a fair amount of tourists with the Macaw Museum. This museum houses and interprets artifacts from a Macaw village that was partly buried by a mudslide around 1750 and also includes fishing-related history. The town also
Holy
attracts
shit.
a fair amount of water enthusiasts each summer with its popular spots for sport fishing. The closest town to this picturesque coastal town is Forks, which is about 30 miles away.
Forks, I've heard of that.
2. Hewlett, Wyoming.
Hewlett?
If you think about it, almost every town or city in Wyoming is a little bit secluded, but then you have the extra secluded town of Hewlett. Located in Crook County, Hewlett has a total landmass of less than 1 square mile and a population of only 309 residents
Oh
as of
my
2020
goodness.
census. Just north of the Devil's Tower, the town attracts
I love little towns like that. I do. There's something about them that make them feel so homey. Can I just ask, what the hell is that?
of the Devil's Tower. The town attracts its fair share of tourists with the
Devil's
surrounding
Tower?
Black Hills National Forest, a long-running rodeo, and more. There are 2 other towns that are between 16 and 30 miles away, known as Sundance and Moorcroft. However, these towns still only have about 1,000 residents. 1. Whittier,
Of course, it's Alaska again.
There is no shortage of secluded towns in the country, but we can all agree that the one-house town of Whittier in Alaska might
This was the one. This was this. Everyone lives in this tower, don't they? This was in another video. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what type of video or what the video was called, man. It might be in like smallest towns or something.
very well be the poster town for seclusion. The town is only accessible by a 2.6-mile tunnel.
That's
It opens up
crazy.
during the hours of the day, and it shelters a population of about 272 people as of 2020's census.
That's insane.
Whittier is located about 53 miles southeast of Anchorage and is roughly in the middle of nowhere.
Can I just ask, and I don't mean disrespect here, right? At all. Why would anyone live here? If there's genuine reasons, I would. The only reason I can think of people living here is because the people that live there maybe work here or something. I couldn't. Could you? Like everyone that lives in this town lives in this one building. I don't know, man. I just couldn't.
Whittier is well known as a one-house town because most of its residents live in a single massive building. During brutal winters, the entire population of Whittier makes their way to the center of the town and gathers inside the Begich Towers condominium. The closest city or town to the
Is that-
one-house town is about 26 miles away. Before you get your hopes up, you should know that if you're visiting Whittier, you might not get to be a guest of the town's house. Regardless, we can assure you that it would be quite the experience. But what
That's
about the
crazy.
10
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that was really. That scares me a bit that people live in such secluded little places that are basically in the middle of nowhere. I live in a town, but I live in Northern Ireland, man. So it doesn't matter that I live in a small town. I live within driving distance of everything I can possibly need. And it would only take me like max 20 minutes. These people live in places 720 miles away from the nearest town. Like, that's mad. But hey, if that's your thing, then that is your thing, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You have yourself a good day. Remember to like, subscribe, and enjoy yourself.